everybody. It is day 3 of ECGC. Hope you have been enjoying yourself so far. If you missed anything for the last couple of days, it's very easy to catch up. Just go over to the Meet to Match channel on the program, click the link for the one you missed, and it'll pop right up. And those are going to be available for at least a little while after the conference as well, according to our good friends over at ECGC. But to start the day off, we have Anya Stoyanova. I did it. I knew I was going to do it. Anya Stoyanova.
You get it.
Who's the Senior Marketing and BizDev Manager at Imperia Online over in
Hi, everyone.
And she's going to be walking you through the wonderful transition of going from a developer to a publisher. So it's all yours.
All righty. Hi, everyone. Okay, let me just run my presentation. Do you see everything fine? Hear me? Good? Okay. So hello. My name is Anya. I'm part of Imperia Online as a Senior Marketing and Business Development Manager. And I'm really glad to be here today to share about those 5 smooth steps we took from starting as a developer until today when Imperia Online also operates as a publisher. Before sharing further details about the steps, I'm glad to share some insights about our company. Imperia Online is a game development company founded in 2005. So far, we actually are the biggest Bulgarian gaming studio until today, with a team of 90 professionals based in Sofia, Bulgaria. We have a portfolio of 25 titles. We reached to more than 50 million players, and with our games, we are popular on more than 30 platforms. Since September 2018, we became part of Stillfront Group, and so far we are already 19 companies operating worldwide. Me, myself, I'm part of the team for almost 8 years. And like I said, I'm happy to share some insights about our company today. Let's start with step 1. Back in 2005, Imperia Online was founded by 2 co-founders with a startup budget of 500 euros, which were invested for the very first server. Our co-founders were sharing the same love for similar games. Actually, they were playing the same game at that time when they decided to develop Imperia Online for web browser. And based on those facts, there were no questions and doubts about what type of game is going to be the first one of the company. The free-to-play games are part of our DNA, and all of our games currently are based on this model. Like I said, there were also no questions regarding the audience they were going to target and the genres. Our core competence currently are MMORTS and MMORPGs. At that time, 15 years ago, there were not that many web browser developers in Bulgaria, so we were one of the first. Just when Imperia Online was launched officially in August 2005, there were just a couple. When we launched Imperia Online, it was live just in a couple of languages, but we were seeing that the audience was quickly growing. The game was becoming more and more popular in regions like in Western Europe, Russia, Brazil, and players were giving us hints that we need to start expanding the game by having it localized in more than the languages we currently had. Some of the players actually even helped us to increase the number of languages in Imperia Online. Today, I'm happy to share that our games are localized in more than 30 languages. While we were growing our game, team, and company, it was time for our next step to start searching about new channels by adding new partners for our game. It's not always about thinking in the straightforward direction. I have a game, I have to find a partner, a portal or platform, place the game, and then wait. It was never like that for us, and actually the results currently we have are showing exactly that this is not that straightforward process. You have always to think out of the box. You have to think, okay, I have a game, I have to start approaching to new players, which are going to help improve the gameplay. It's going to make it much more interesting for everyone. It's going to grow in terms of game company, and it's going to give this nice fine touch in yourself as a game developer. We started, of course, exploring new partnerships like portals and platforms. Of course, we started looking for the ones which are having games similar to ours. Then we started exploring also being creative by what type of promotions, maybe in-game events, might be much more interesting rather than just having our game listed to a specific place. Here I have listed just a few of our partners we currently work with. I'm not going to go in more details for popular companies like Facebook, Miniclip, Spiel Games. Here, my hint contains more information just exactly about the part which I mentioned, to start thinking more creatively and be more creative. What we did with two of our partners, payment providers at the end, and PayPal, rather, and aside from the part that we had them as payment providers in our game, was to launch a campaign with them where Imperium Online was launched on their portals and their websites, and users from there were able to join Imperium Online. At the same time, we were discussing different types of promotion which to be launched, and in result, we managed to find another way of how to increase our player base. Over the years, we were exploring different opportunities of working with dating sites, different other media sites, and we weren't only looking for the straightforward portals and platforms. We were growing. Our web browser title Imperium Online was conquering the world, and we were increasing our network of partners. So it was time for step 2. It was time for our next web browser game. The second title which took part of our portfolio was a reskin of Imperium Online. We did a full reskin for the space, and that's how we launched Galactic Imperia. Like I said, we were focusing more on hardcore titles. That was what in our genes, and we were by the time when the team was already quite big, we noticed that our web browser portfolio is it's about time to go to the next level. That's actually the time when we launched our first RPG, called Imperial Hero, the first version. Basically, the whole gameplay contains a lot of pages. The whole team invested in before launching the game. I'm sorry. Right now, the game is live with the second version, Imperial Hero 2, for web and also mobile. We were having a decent presence worldwide. We had a successful titles part of our portfolio, and it led us to the next point when we started thinking, shall we continue self-publishing our games, or shall we start thinking of going with a publisher? Of course, like for every single developer, we had the concerns, what percentage we are going to receive at the end after working with a publisher, or shall I continue on my own and receive 100%? For us, the case was coming from the part which I just mentioned a couple of minutes before. Imperia Online was becoming popular in regions like Russian-speaking countries, Brazil, MENA as well. Those are markets which are like every single market has its specifications, and you as a developer and also us, we couldn't know all those small facts for every single market, and that's when we reached to the point that we were standing in front of the fact that rather go with a publisher or not even launch our game for this very specific market. What we did with Imperia Online, actually, we created two separate versions, one for the Russian-speaking countries and one for MENA region. What we did there was to improve and change regarding the expectations of the player there, art, music, names. As you can see from the screenshot here, this is how Imperia Online looks for the MENA region. We, thanks to the publisher, we were working there. First of all, they had this knowledge of what players are expecting to have. Also, they had these close connections with media and agencies, which we didn't have, in order to promote quickly and easily our title. Or here, when it comes to web browser game, of course, when it comes to mobile, the local partners are having really close connections with Apple and Google, and featuring are much more easier. An interesting fact which we did for the MENA region is that in Imperia Online we have a building called Tavern, which is not that quite popular as we already as we all know for MENA region. After a suggestion, we changed the whole building to cafeteria. We all know that people there really like drinking coffees several times per day. And actually, just because of the hints we received from our partners, we noticed that we already had the player base there, but we significantly increased it just because of the knowledge we received from the publisher. This is also leading to the part that you will be also able to explore new markets, to get out of the comfort zone, and of course at the end you will be having new ideas what to add in your game. Some things which might be coming from the perspective of specific market might be a good feature for your worldwide presence. Today we have portfolio of 25 games, like I said. Our core competence are strategic games, hard to mid-core, but for 15 years on the market, we have been developing different games for different genres. Like as you can see here from my screen, I have listed some of the art we created for some of our games. We have been creating board games. We have been launching casual games up to hyper casual games. Something which I would like to point here is that how we ended up expanding our portfolio was because we were firstly listening to the suggestions and we were having discussions in-house. New opportunities are coming from there, and also we were looking what the market is giving us opportunities. And that's just an example. What we did is that for Imperia Online, back in the days, we decided that it's a great way to add the feature where players are going to be able to rescale their empire. They were able to change the position of their buildings in the village. We spent a lot of time preparing the feature. There were a lot of man hours spent for this one. Everyone were really happy just before the launch. And it turned out that the players are not using it that much. They're just willing to log in the game, prep their strategy, conquer new lands, and then continue their gameplay because the main idea is to become the first. So even that we spent a lot of time preparing this feature, we noticed that the players are not really fans of. So here my hint is not to be that much struggling just for something you believe it's going to be a good thing for your game. You have to listen for the players, and in our case they said they showed us that this is not a good case for the game, so we had to shut it down. Our web browser portfolio was growing, and at the same time the market was changing, and that's how we entered step 3. It was all about mobile. Imperium Online's first mobile was launched actually back in 2010. The idea for the game came from in-house, and one of the team members, here I'm opening a bracket just to mention that a lot of ideas we were having and adding in the games, about games and etc. We are always discussing them in-house in the company. The first mobile game we launched was Online Artillery, casual game where there are 2 castles and you have three tries to destroy the other castle. There are a lot of new features, a lot of power-ups in the game. Back in the days, the game was only launched for iOS. Later on, and right now, the game is with the second version, where it's available for iOS and Android as well. And an interesting fact is that the game also reached top charts in countries like Germany, US, France. After Online Artillery, the first version, it was just about time to launch the mobile version for Imperium Online. Imperium Online currently is live with its 7th version. The first mobile version was launched was for version 5. Me personally remember the time because I was just a freshman in the company, and I remember the whole hype around launching the game. When we prepared the mobile versions of Imperium Online, we came to a point that we started thinking, shall we continue with a cross-platform game? And is it going to be a good opportunity for us? For Imperium Online, of course, both of the ways are having their pros and cons. Imperium Online is built on a native language, and yes, we added the cross-platform option, so our players were able to log in to mobile and web app with the same login. But just because of the fact that our game is built on native, it became quite hard and difficult for each separate team to launch a certain feature at the same time. It was hard to support smoothly. So we decided that it's a better way to continue with having 2 separate versions for web and mobile, as it is for now. Here, of course, when it comes to games which are built on Unity, it is definitely going to be a much easier process. So it's a good way to and a good thing to be discussed in order to be added. When you have a game, you have to focus on your audience and know that they are giving nice ideas. Like I mentioned just a couple of seconds ago, the players are actually making your game interesting, popular, acquiring and reaching to new players are making the whole gameplay much more interesting. And when you're open to listen to other suggestions, it's going to only lead to a point that you're improving your gameplay in general, and of course your portfolio and company on a later stage. And don't forget to be creative in terms of, like I said, the features which might be working or rather not, or somebody from your team might be giving you a nice idea which is going to improve the whole monetization, let's say, in the game. Or think about the ideas of running a tournament or a specific in-game event. This is going to keep the whole community much more entertained. Here I have gathered some statistics we have accomplished, just a few, not all of them are added here, for the mobile version of Imperia Online. The game is available on App Store and Google Play and also on Windows Store. Actually, Imperia Online was one of the first strategy games launched on Windows Phone. We keep really high ratings, as you can see, around 4.8. Imperia Online was listed as a top 50 grossing strategy game on the App Store for the US market. So far, the downloads on Android are around 4 million, on Windows Phone nearly 2 million. This is the splash screen, how it looks right now in the game. And another great thing we accomplished is with Imperium that it was listed in top grossing in 100 countries in all games, as taking 47th place. We are really happy what we have accomplished within Imperia Online because we already have 10 years of history being as a mobile developer. Our portfolio currently contains more mobile titles, and we are of course looking forward for new changes and new opportunities for our titles. We have been developer for quite some time already, and we have been passing through all the struggles only one developer can know. Starting from the idea, passing through the development, then the launch, after that looking for the right partner, and so on and so on. We had, in the beginning of last year, we were having already 14 years of history being a developer, and we decided that it's time to explore further and see Imperia Online as a publisher. The first published title which took part of our portfolio is Siege World War II, a complete mobile title which is developed by Sumatronics, also part of Stillfront Group. That happened, like I said, in the beginning of last year. What we did was to focus all the knowledge we have gained over the years in terms of monetization and events and features, discuss in-house, of course, which are the best ones, which are going to click and fit to the action game, and launch it. In terms of performance, we have chosen the best monetization features and we implemented them in the game. For 12 months later, I'm happy to share that we tripled the revenue of the game. We also added a lot of in-game events, promotions, and tournaments, which were increasing the whole gameplay. And thanks to the fact that we already had a network of mobile partners as portals and platforms, we easily also managed to expand the player base by having the game launched on several other platforms. Currently, we handle the live ops of the game fully in-house. We also, being for quite long as a developer, we have our strong connections also with Google and Apple, which we also used when we published Siege, and the game was already featured 4 times on both stores, like when the last one was just a month and a half ago. Here, I would like to point out some of the things we did about Siege for the last year. For 2020, we did 19 updates, and here I'd like to point that it's good if every single update contains a new feature. First of all, it's good in order to keep your players entertained, and at the same time, it's a good opportunity to discuss on a later stage to be featured. For this year, we have a plan of 20 new ones coming up. When Siege became part of our portfolio, it was localized just in 5 languages. Thanks to the fact that we have in-house team of community managers, we managed to localize the game in additionally 10 more languages, which directly and automatically led to the part that Siege was already popular worldwide. In terms of our team's work and in result of our actions, we managed to increase the installs with almost 600% for iOS. Imperium Online is quite popular with the opportunity of easily turning a player into payer. This knowledge we easily also added it to Siege, and as you can see, around 70% is the increase on users which have been converted to payers. Until March this year, the total number of downloads of the game are above 4 million. And we continue, of course, working and looking for new things to be added. Okay, here we are to step 5. In Q4 last year, we were already happy as being developer with our portfolio of games. We already have been seeing the success of Siege. So we decided of starting and building Imperia Online as having a hub for assets. What we are currently doing is that we are in search for our next title, which to become part of our portfolio and give it the push the game needs. When it comes, of course, here we're talking about your baby, your game, but it's if you're out of ideas or you're searching for a new opportunity for your game, here comes Imperia Online. We are going to give you the access of being part of a really strong platform, and in terms of a deal, it can go with or without a team. And if we go with a second version, this is going to give you the opportunity for you, your team, and your company to focus on a new project or a current idea you're having or something you would like to invest more time and resources. In result, we are going to receive 100% ownership and you are going to receive 100% of the cash. After quick 3 months of transition period, you are going to be able to expand further. Based on the fact that we have also knowledge of quick due diligence process, it's going to take up just to a few weeks. And we are going to give you the full support for the process. Currently, we are looking for titles which are at least for two years on the market. And I'll be really happy to discuss further opportunities. Here are my contacts if anyone wants to get in touch after the show. And I'm open for questions now.
Awesome. Thanks, Anya. So first question from Jessica. What do you keep an eye out for when you make the choice to release in a new country or language?
I'm sorry, but my connection got broken and I didn't hear the question. Sorry.
Jessica says, as a publisher, what do you keep an eye out for when you make the choice to release in a new country or language?
Oh, a very, very good question. Thank you for this one. So when it comes to search for the right partner and publisher for your game, when we talk about a web browser publisher, my personal suggestion here is first, do your research. Maybe on the portal, there are similar games to yours. Maybe there is a direct competitor of yours. Of course, try to understand how many users you can reach by placing your game on the portal. And this is also going to be very helpful in terms of launch, that you can make your math and prepare servers so there are no issues on the problem. When it comes to looking for a publisher for mobile, of course, again, do your research. Check how many games they have published so far, what experience they have. Are they developer? Do they know what are the steps of developing a game and publishing a game and supporting a game? So yeah, these are like quick hints on that.
So Mary Pat asked, do you feel like the business folks need to have programming and development skills?
Me, myself, I'm not that good in reading codes. I'm honest here. It's a good thing to have a basic line to know it, because when it comes to integrations, for instance, our team has a lot of expertise in implementing our games to different platforms, like in Russian or Arabic, or like the documentary wasn't in language like in English, easily to be read. But in terms of supporting later on, and some basic lines are good to be known, because it's much easier for the whole process to be easily handled. In terms of like cases, for example, if we have a case with our game, like a partner of ours reported that there is an issue, we have the support of our developers. Me personally, I'm not required to read the code deeply and understand what's the issue or the error.
Yeah, I told her I was proof positive that BizDev people don't need to know how to code, because I haven't done it in 25 years. So if you're out there listening, drinking your coffee this morning, keep in mind this is also your opportunity as a developer to ask a publisher what they're looking for, what they need, what they want to see, how that whole process goes as well. All right, so next up from Angel Star Studios, you mentioned you did 19 updates and had great growth. Can you mention just a few of those updates, as in what type they were, other than just patches?
Yeah, so like I said, we were launching, one of the latest things we launched for Siege were in-game ads. This is a new feature we added. We added features like the alliance base, the piggy bank. We improved the classification system, the way players are classified in terms of points in the game. We updated by adding a new charts, like based on the points the players are collecting in the game. There are different charts they can compete between each other. And of course, a lot of new monetization practices, like tournaments, events, and promotions. Hope this answers your question.
So next, CJ says, what advice would you give to studios in co-development agreements who are interested in becoming partners or publishers rather than simply service providers?
So basically, when it comes to co-development, the first point is to discuss, both of the sides to discuss which is the best next step to continue. And so if two companies are co-developing a specific game, when it comes to searching for a partner, you have to be on the same page, which are the best ones to reach out, which are going to be the top 5, top 20, top 100. It really depends on the game, which are going to be in help in order to expand your player base and make your game much more popular.
So, and then to carry over, what would you recommend seeking out in new hires and partners from different regions in order to better tailor experiences for those particular markets?
Okay, this question kind of covers the first one. So first of all, when you start searching for a publisher for a specific market, try to dig more. How popular is this publisher in the region? For example, do they often attend conferences? How many titles do they have in their portfolio? Are they having similar games to yours? For how long the game has been part of their portfolio? Are they doing constant featurings, rather on the stores or on the platform? Here, it covers both mobile and web in my answer. So additionally to this one, don't forget to use the platforms where you can, like similar web, you can get a closer version of the performance of the specific portal. Use portals like Sensor Tower, similar, App Annie, which are going to give you also a nice brief overview of the specific publisher.
So, Anya, talk a little bit about why you look for the types of titles that you do, because your publishing business model isn't standard. Most publishers are out there always looking for, okay, what's new? We want to be able to release this first. Whereas you all are much more interested in games that have already been on the market and, maybe too much to take on from developers at that point. But talk a little about the decision to focus on games that have already been released instead of games that are going to be released.
Yeah, this comes from the fact that, like I said in my presentation, we have been through all the struggles a developer only can know. And we want to our idea is not take a title, do some specifications we decide that are good for the game, and republish it. For us is we're looking for a game which is for a couple of years on the market. It's in declining revenue, and the team behind the game are out of ideas. They don't know how to continue improving the gameplay. They don't know how to increase the monetization. They reached out to a point that they're steady. Here comes Imperia Online. We, based on the knowledge we already have from our portfolio, from different genres, we have been doing a lot of like I said, different types of games have been developed by our company. So we know those small things a game needs. So we want to find the next big star, let's say it like that, which to be successful for our title, for our company as a publisher, and also for the developer to see that they are able to invest in a new title they plan on, a new platform, or they have a title they are currently working on, but they don't have they need more developers from the other team to join and finish their new game. Sorry.
So another question from CJ. These games seem to be built with an eye towards web and mobile platforms. Any advice for transitioning from developer to publisher in other areas like Steam, consoles, VR, etc.?
For instance, we have our Imperia Online actually celebrating its 5th anniversary this year, being live on Steam. But we have been self-publishing our game there. We didn't search for direct publisher for Steam. We wanted to launch our game on our own there. For VR, I'm not really into to be able to give you nice, good hints how to do it there.
So what advice do you have for indie developers who are creating their first free-to-play game?
If they my first personal opinion is that they have to launch the game, and while the game is launched, to see the performance, hear some feedback from the users, and improve on the ongoing process. Do regular updates. Here I'm talking about the mobile version. Do regular updates on web. I mean, polish the game, and meanwhile don't put aside the fact that you can directly start looking for a publisher. These are two processes which are not excluding each other. Rather, while you're working on your title in order to be improved, you can start searching for a publisher who is going to help you in terms of reaching new market. It's going to help you to localize your game for a specific market, like we did we did from the very beginning. Our first step was to localize the game in more than just a couple of languages, which was giving us the opportunity to easily operate worldwide. Having the game localized in more languages is also adding additional benefit in terms of easily finding like portals and platforms and mobile like affiliates which are going to be willing to promote your game without like heavy integration and something.
Awesome. Anya, thank you so much for coming on and sharing what you all have learned over the last decade or so of doing this. To everyone else, give us about 15-20 minutes. Dan's going to be back with the Gamehurst talking about the business of running a business. Don't forget, in the meantime, you can leave, and there are free coffee and donuts and muffins in the concourse area. You're on your own to find those, though. All right, everybody, we will see you soon. Thanks.
Thank you. Have a nice day.